Hello and welcome to the RNL Revolution Nothing Less show. Today is Thursday, September 11th, 2025. My name is Annie Day. In light of yesterday's events, we're not running the show we had planned. Instead, we want to share the following from the website revcom.us. On September 10th, the fascist agitator Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the Utah Valley University campus. The first statement posted on revcom.us a few hours after the assassination said, "A full picture of what's involved in this assassination, including the motivation of the shooter, is not clear at this point. But whatever the actual motivation and whatever might be involved with this, it has nothing to do with any positive change, and certainly nothing to do with an emancipating transformation of society, which can only be brought about through a revolution involving millions of people and aiming to sweep away this whole system and replace its relations and institutions of exploitation and oppression and its putrid culture with ones that are liberating and uplifting. Further, whatever comes to light, this assassination is counter to what's urgently needed now. Millions in the streets, acting non-violently in sustained political protest, uniting broadly across different political perspectives with the aim of driving the Trump fascist regime from power. No one should allow this assassination to become a pretext to bring down repression on the people and their just and urgently needed struggle against the illegitimate Trump fascist regime." After revcom.us released this statement, Donald Trump came out with a further statement on this incident.
For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now.
Before anyone had been arrested or charged, Trump went on television to attack the radical left and the news media, and to specifically single out people and political forces simply for rightly condemning Trump and those in his camp for being Nazi-like fascists. Trump listed a number of fascists who have been attacked or killed and ignored any violence perpetrated by fascists, a number which is actually far greater. Trump has been joined in this stance by a unified chorus coming out from the fascist ranks, with major fascist spokespeople like Steve Bannon, Fox News host Jesse Waters, and Alex Jones, all calling this war.
This is a war we didn't ask for, and this is a war they can't win. This is a turning point. Everything that we've witnessed recently is unacceptable. Everyone's going to be held accountable in the media, in Congress, on campus, everywhere.
It is clear that at this point, the assassination of Charlie Kirk is being seized on by the fascists to put all those who oppose them on the political defensive, to rally the MAGA fascist troops to their banner, and to create the basis to do far worse, highly repressive moves. The fact that Trump and his fascist followers are cynically trying to turn the assassination of Charlie Kirk to their advantage and to launch threats and foment hatred against a whole scope of their political opponents is not only ominous, it must be called out and opposed. Right and wrong cannot be turned on their head. People must be on the alert and ready to defend organizations and individuals who come under attack from the fascists. Nonviolent resistance against the actual violence being launched in major cities by Trump MAGA must continue. Folding now in the face of threats and attacks will only feed more of the same. Turn every attack into a stepping stone to expose the dire nature of the fascist threat and build more support. Finally, it is more important than ever to bring out the fascist, illegitimate character of this regime and to fight for millions to come to D.C. on November 5th and to bring down this fascist regime through massive, nonviolent resistance. If anything, the stakes are higher and the need is greater and more urgent than they were even 24 hours ago. On the website revcom.us, there's a sidebar that expands on exactly this point, that in supposedly calling out political violence, Trump listed only Republican fascist victims of violence, but conveniently omitted the far more numerous occurrences of fascist violence carried out by right-wing extremists and fascists. According to the LA Times, quoting the Anti-Defamation League in 2022, right-wing extremists have killed more than 330 people in the U.S. over the last decade. That's 75% of all the deaths caused by political violence in the U.S. The other 25% is mostly from Islamic extremists. Left-wing or anarchist violence only made up 4% of all the deaths. Trump did not speak of the murders of Melissa Hortman, a Democratic Minnesota state lawmaker, and her husband, as well as the shooting of another Democratic lawmaker and his wife in June, by a man with a hit list of 45 elected officials, all Democrats. Trump did not talk about the attack on former Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, or the threats to hang Mike Pence by the pro-Trump mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. He did not talk about Joseph Rosenbaum or Anthony Huber, killed by Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in a nonviolent protest in 2020 demanding an end to police murder. Nor did he speak of Heather Heyer, murdered by pro-Trump, pro-Nazi demonstrators in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017, of whom Trump said there were very fine people on both sides. Nor did he speak of the 11 members of the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, slain by a fascist lunatic who thought that the Jewish people in the synagogue had aided immigrants, nor of the horrific slaughter of immigrants by an anti-immigrant fanatic in El Paso in 2019. Trump also did not mention the 11 abortion providers and others killed by Christian fascist gunmen, or the thousands of acts of violence and blockades against abortion clinics and staff. In sum, by selectively highlighting only acts of violence against fascists and ignoring the far greater number of violent acts against those who are targeted by the fascists, Trump gave a very dishonest picture. This dishonest picture is almost certain to further inflame fascist bloodlust. So to close out this special RNL Show dispatch, I want to come back to where the RevCom statement ended. It is more important than ever to bring out the fascist, illegitimate character of this regime and to fight for millions to come to D.C. on November 5th and to bring down this fascist regime through massive, nonviolent resistance. If anything, the stakes are higher and the need is greater and more urgent than they were even 24 hours ago. Stay tuned to this channel. Stay tuned to the website revcom.us and the social media at the RevComs. Get organized with people from different political perspectives with Refuse Fascism to drive the fascist regime from power. refusefascism.org. Stay tuned.